here to talk about the homicide that occurred over the weekend and the officer-involved shooting. At 2:25 a.m. on June 1st, officers arrived in the area of 4th and G for bar break. For those of you who don't know, bar break is when the bars begin to close. A larger amount of people than is typical begin to spill out on the sidewalks and sometimes into the street. So they were there to monitor that. As they were outside, they heard gunshots, which they believed to be coming from the north side of the building. They advised on those gunshots, and the officers that were already present began moving towards the north side of the building. As officers moved towards the north, one witness pointed out a male indicating that he was involved in the shooting. Officers gave commands to the male, who ran off with a gun in his hand, clearly visible. As the officers approached 3rd and G, they discharged their weapons, striking the male adult multiple times. They rendered aid to the male adult, who was transported to the hospital by medics. He is in stable condition and currently in DOC custody. During this initial investigation, officers discovered a male adult on the south side of the building with a gunshot wound, and a second male adult who was deceased behind one of the bars. 22-year-old Caleb Bordakovsky has been charged with murder in the 1st degree, murder in the 2nd degree, misconduct involving weapons in the 2nd degree, and assault in the 2nd degree. The murder charges stem from the death of 25-year-old Diego Joe. Detectives have begun reviewing hundreds of video to include in-car video, body-worn camera video, surveillance cameras, traffic cameras, and private cell phone video. If there are people who have information or video regarding this event, we ask that you contact the police department at the non-emergency number, and we will put you in touch with detectives to continue this investigation. What questions do we have?
Did he actively threaten officers before they discharged their weapons?
The investigation is continuing. What I can tell you is that the male adult was running after shooting with a gun in his hand. We have multiple people on the street. We cannot allow someone to threaten more people or cause more death.
Was he shot in the back?
He was shot multiple times. I don't know where all his injuries are at this point.
Can you tell us anything about staffing levels, particularly at bar break? Could this have played out any differently, do you think, if we had more officers?
I don't know how many officers we had on duty at that particular point in time. Our point in being present is not to be security for the bar, but to try and make it as safe as possible when multiple people are exiting. I don't know that more officers would have prevented what was an altercation between two sets of people before this happened.
The court of complaint says that the man who was shot fired several guns at the. I think the court has numerous guns at the area. Is that a typo? Did he just fire numerous shots, or did he fire numerous guns?
I don't believe he had numerous guns. I'm not aware of that at this time. I believe that's a typo, but I would have to double check.
What type of gun did he have?
He had a handgun with an extended magazine.
Did officers use any non-lethal force for discharging their weapons?
No, this man was running with a gun in his hand after an active shooting. There was no time for less lethal weapons. I don't know that I can say that anything is standard procedure. This is a dynamic situation. What we do know is, again, we have multiple people saying that shots were being fired. We have somebody actively running from the police with a gun. We have too many people out on the street and on the sidewalks in danger of this person with the gun.
Do you have any sense of motive for why he shot either of the two people?
Indications are there was an altercation that began in a bar and was taken outside. There was a physical fight between two people, and then this shooting happened.
Is there any indication of what their relationship was prior to the fight?
We do not know what their relationship was before this.
To have two officer-involved shootings in a fairly short period of time when we haven't had any for a while, I'm just curious, what's your take on that? Is it just a fluke, or is it indicative of how dangerous things could just be?
You know, these situations are dynamic, right? We can't say what will make somebody decide to confront police with weapons or why they choose to do that. What we can do is try to give them an opportunity to come out, as we do. We give them commands to come out, to stop what they're doing, and our reactions are based on what their actions are.
But I'm asking in general, do you feel like it's indicative of language becoming, and maybe downtown in particular, just more dangerous?
Well, I certainly believe that we have had too many altercations, and I believe alcohol is a large factor in those.
Does the PD plan to release this body camera footage prior to the OSA investigation being complete?
No, we will be waiting for them to complete their investigation before we release any footage.
Is that going to be a blanket policy going forward to always wait in officer-involved shootings until that investigation is complete?
I can't say that that will be a blanket policy just yet. I think we're still working through how we need to work with body cam footage and investigations. This is a learning process for us, and unfortunately, like you've said, we've had two in a short amount of time. We're still working out how to process information and be open with the information we have with the community.
Is this decision based off of the Office of Special Prosecution's request that law enforcement agencies not share that footage prior to their completion?
In part, but also because we understand that investigations are put into jeopardy if we give out too much information too soon. Other questions?
Just any sense of how long this investigation will last, or if there's an update on the prior investigation, kind of timelines at all?
So this weekend's investigation, I can't give a timeline. It's hard. It's dynamic. We have multiple people involved. We have witnesses to interview still. We have video camera footage to update. However, any incidents that involved officers, excuse me, officer-involved shootings, we try to complete as quickly as possible. However, when they're interwoven like this, it might take a little longer than normal.
Is there any danger to the public ongoing from this particular incident this weekend?
We have no reason to believe that there is anyone outstanding from this incident.
The second man who was just wounded by the gunfire, was he directly involved at all in the fight or the altercation, or did he know the suspect prior to this?
We're still investigating exactly what his involvement is. However, we know that when the shots were fired initially, there was a crowd of people around. No further questions? Thank you.